Well, welcome back, my friends all, to another rousing rendition of Choir Boys Outdoors, a budget Bowie knife rendition. Now, I was on Amazon yesterday, and I come across, I believe it's pronounced Szczko, Szczko Bowie, and it was 25 bucks. Now, I've seen Donnie B all day, and I've seen a couple other guys with these things, and they got a couple of good ones. So I thought, man, 25 bucks. Plus, we show a lot of expensive knives on here. We really do. And I thought, let me add in a little budget. But here's what I want everybody to understand. And here's what I want to get everybody on the same page with. I am not here to break this knife. I'm not here to sell you this knife. I am going to put a link to the one I bought in the description from Amazon if you want to check it out. But the thing is this. I get guys asking me, hey man, name a good budget knife for under 50 bucks or a good fixed blade. Guys, that's tougher and tougher and tougher to do. So here's what we're going to do. I'm not interested in destroying this knife for clicks and views. I'm not interested in making this knife look way better than what it is for 25. I'm not. I want to give you the best look, the fairest look I can by using the knife, and you make up your own mind. Because here's what I understand. I understand working men. I'm in a unique position. I really am. I get to demonstrate and play with a lot of expensive knives, and a lot of them I get to keep. But I am a working man. I go to work every day. I work 5-6 days a week and run the channel. So I understand what it is to have to budget. So here's what I wanted to do. Every knife we have on here, and I've proven this time and time and time, we're going to do the same way. If it works, it works. If it busts, it busts. But we're going to give it the same shot. Now, I wrote down a lot of stats that I want to go over with you, okay? And it is carbon steel. I got the carbon steel version. I felt like for me that would be a little easier to work with. Now, obviously with it being a Bowie knife, it's going to have the clip point. It honestly strikes a ferrocenium rod pretty well. We do that in this video. It comes with a leather sheath that probably ate up the $25 budget. I mentioned the Amazon link. It'll be in the description. Really impressed with that leather sheath, and I actually wore it for this video. Now, carbon steel, who knows what it is? It's probably off an old leaf spring or something. Wood handle scales. The blade thickness is between 1/8 and 3/16. So I'm sure it's some millimeter. I'm just not sure what. The overall length is 15 inches. The blade length is 10 inches. The cutting edge is 9. Now, the blade length is 10 inches to the handle. That is including the guard. The blade width at its widest point is 2 1/8 inches. The clip point portion is not sharpened, but it's 3 1/4 inches. Handle length is 5 inches. The handle thickness goes from 1 1/8 down to 1 inch. All right, it tapers. The inner grip is 4 3/8. There's not a human being on this planet that cannot hold this knife. Perfect inner grip right there. The handle width, just like we do the width of the blade, it starts at the guard at 1 1/4 down to the pommel to 1 inch. So the handle tapers very well. Now it's very crudely done. It is wood. It's held on by 3 pins. It did not loosen up in this video. The guard did, but the guard's going to, right? That's a quick, easy fix. Not real worried about that. Now, I actually got the measurements for the guard from tip to tip, and we would call this width, by the way we're measuring it, is 4 3/4 inches long. The thickness is 1/16. The actual thickness of the guard is 1 1/16, or width. Y'all know what I'm saying there. The weight is 1 pound, 2.6 ounces. Now, it comes from Pakistan. So we've got to understand a few things right off the rip. It's going to vary. No matter, you could probably get 10 different ones. The consistency is going to be different on each one. The steel is pretty soft. I did put a slight, probably 2-inch warp in the blade, but it didn't chip and it didn't roll. It did warp, and I'll show you that as we go. Here, honestly, I just wanted to play with this knife. I wanted to do everything with this knife that I could. So some of this stuff you may never do. I get that. I understand that. Cutting the strap at the beginning of the video and stabbing the tire, I'd already stabbed it once to do a short. And that was probably, it was probably 2 or 3 segments after this. So while it wasn't as sharp cutting the strap, it had cut quite a bit. Out of the box, I've got to give it about a, anywhere from a 5 to a 6 on the sharpness. But here's my thought on this. If you were going camping and you just needed a knife, man, you're doing a budget deal. You're like, dude, I don't have much money, but I got to get in the woods. I need to relax. So you saw this and you bought it for 25 bucks. Based on this knife, because I can't base it on anything else, you'd be fine. If you have some sharpening skills and you got one of those little diamond stones, one of them DMT stones from a hardware store or something, you could probably around the campfire hone this thing up to get you what you needed. But coming out, this is reinforced sandblast hose. It cut that. It cut ratchet strap. People from time to time will say, well, my $5 knife from Walmart's will do what that for. No, it won't. It may do the same thing, but it won't do it as well. This knife did everything I needed it to do. It just didn't do it as well. Do I recommend the knife? Listen, if you need a budget knife and you have some kind of skill set, you would be fine with this knife. I would encourage you, and I want everybody to listen to me. If you buy one of these, if you're like, man, I just want to buy one, and you're going camping, say on a Friday, don't have that sumbitch delivered on Friday. Get it delivered to you on like a Tuesday where you've got time to cut a few things, see what you got, hone it up. The balance point on it's great, right? I would even maybe consider taking the handle scales off, super gluing them and the guard just for the added protection, But the honest to God truth is, it will suffice as a cutting tool. And before anybody talks shit about it, because we have this insane idea that we're going to have to survive at some point, or that you're going to have to magically knife fight somebody. Let me explain something to you real fast. That's 15 inches of steel with a point on it. It can be dull as a butter knife, but I can promise you this, my guy, if you come at me, I'll run it straight through your clavicle. You hear me? I'll pin you to the wall with it. It don't have to be some 1/2 inch thick, razor sharp. No, it'll kill you dead as a hammer. We lose sight of that shit sometimes. Now, this is about a 5 or 6 inch diameter cedar log, and I wasn't trying to chop it in two. The knife is not strong with chopping. It doesn't need to be. And here's where some jerk off that's read Davy Crockett or Daniel Boone or about Jim Bowie, it ain't a chopper scab, it's a fighting knife. I fight with mine. Yeah, you do a lot with yours. If you're stuck in a situation you need a damn knife in this day and age, boys and girls, you're not fighting with it. You're going to chop, you're going to baton, here's where I warped the blade. I knew this was a nasty spot. See where the limb's coming out up top? I already knew it was a nasty spot, so I figured if we got any damage, it would be here. Why would I do it? So you don't have to, right? If you're going camping and you find you some little 2 or 3 inch diameter limbs, some pine or some oak or something like that, and you need to split them a time or two, this knife will do that. Don't go out there needing to build a log cabin with the sumbitch. You know what I'm saying? We lose sight of actual use. And I said I wasn't going to break it up front. Guys, not every channel needs to break shit. Send it to Joe. Why would I send it to Joe X? He'd probably open up with breaking it over his knee. That's not what my channel does. I love Joe. Love Joe. And I think he definitely serves a service and a purpose. But on a knife like this, you don't want to send this to Joe. It's going to break. Let me take all the drama out of it for you. That's not really... Joe, let me tell you where Joe thrives. I really believe this, where Joe X channel thrives, with some of those higher end knives. He's done work took gear. Y'all know I love work took gear. Okay, are you mad at him? Why would I be mad? Here's what some of the idiots that follow him need to start understanding. If he does a 20-minute video, that means he's got 4 or 5 hours. I'll take a knife that'll withstand 4 or 5 hours of abuse. And if you're a moron that's too stupid to understand that when somebody tries to break a knife, it's going to break, please don't subscribe to me. Please. Like I said, I support Joe, and I think his channel does a service, especially on some of these more expensive knives. And I went this way, and I went down this path for a reason. Joe don't need to bust a budget blade. It's going to bust, right? What we need to do with these blades right here is see how they hold up to normal use, because that's what you're going to do with it. That's what you're going to do with it. And again, I support Joe X, love Joe X. He's a friend of mine. Good dude. Go check him out, subscribe to him. I don't like what he does to knives. Look at it as a service. Y'all don't know how many damn knife companies actually send him knives or want to. I've had two reach out to me and say, can you get a hold of Joe? It's a service. So let's get off of that. The knife performed, if we're talking about in our mythical, mystical survival situation, it performed. If you got a nephew or a kid and you won't get arrested in your hometown for getting them some kind of knife, dude, get them one of these. Get them one of these. Show them how to use it. Show them how to sharpen it. Show them what to do with it. Show them what not to do with it. And understand everything you tell them not to do, they're going to go do. They're kids. I did. You did. We got to take the gloves off. Would I give my grandson one? I'd give the oldest one because he's going to respect it and mess with it. The youngest one, no, because he'd stab everybody in preschool with it. He's got a ID number waiting on him. I love him. God knows I do. God knows I do. Mac. They named him after two of my all-time favorite uncles, Byron and Mac. Byron was my mom's brother, and Uncle Mac was my granddaddy's brother. But Mac is a hell of a fella. Anyway, let's move on. Would I carry the knife? Well, I bought the sumbitch, didn't I? It's warped, yeah, but I'm going to get it as sharp as I can get it. I'm going to throw it in the car, take it to work, and when somebody needs to borrow a blade, there you go. I might get another one and do a real camping trip with it, just see what it does. I'll always have a good knife as a backup. Y'all know, y'all watch the channel like everybody else. But for $25, you can't beat it. Now watch some great throwing here as I run through my causes. Guys, there was a time in this country where 22 vets a day took their own lives. Now stats are everywhere. We talk about that a lot. That's why here on this channel, we focus on the number zero. And vets, listen to me this weekend. I know weekends and I know holidays are tough on you. If you need to reach out, reach out. Somebody's there to listen. If you think they ain't, we've got a channel full of, I got a ton of subscribers that served, that have volunteered before to listen. Don't suffer alone. And that's all it means is we love you. You got a place here. Ain't nothing I can do. I ain't a charity. I don't try to be. We're trying to raise awareness, but I do want you to know you're loved and you're appreciated. I back the blue. I lose a lot of people when I get to this point, and you know what? I'm fine with it. And I don't mean that like an asshole. It's something I believe in, and one day I may just do a whole video on it. It's not everything you think it is. It's not blind loyalty. It's none of that. It's something I believe in. That's why I don't shove it down your throat. Finally, if you are an addict, and Lord knows I am, never quit quitting. Quick shout outs. Donnie B all day. My brother from another mother. Joe, JS Bladecraft. Arizona, EDC. I tagged a guy, Barlow, Big Jim's Barlow's, I believe. Check him out too, man. Some great channels, some great dudes. Steins vs. Knives. I love that guy. Check him out. I'm Scab. You're not. There's Megatron. There's Lola Falana. And we gone, son. Love y'all. Happy Labor Day.